Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. In this video I continue to build the Aston Martin DB5. I am on issue 21. Now on issue 21 I continue with stage 81, so this is part 2 of 81. Here we're going to go ahead and install the front suspension components and front tires. Now if you haven't done so already, head over to Eagle Moss and subscribe to this car today, as well as some of the other car options that they have. They also have the DeLorean, the Ecto-1, the World War II Jeep, the Nissan GTR R35, and many more. So let's get started.
Bond. James Bond.
Welcome back. Let's look at the instructions for stage 81 part 2. If you haven't done so already, head over to Eagle Moss and subscribe to this car today. So we left off installing the speaker and dashboard for stage 81 part 1, and that was in the previous video. Now for this part we're going to go ahead and install the front wheels. So let's get a closer look at the instructions here. So we're going to need to gather some of the suspension parts that we already received in previous issues, and that's these items right here, along with the springs and the front wheels themselves, and also stage 79 parts. So stage 78, 79, and the front wheels. So we'll get those ready, and the first thing we do is we assemble the front suspension, and that would be the suspension shaft and the spring itself, and then we install the left spring retainer, and we'll be putting an A-type screw into that, and that's one side. Then we'll be putting in the front pin assembly itself that we received in stage 79, and the front axle itself that we received in 79. Then of course we install the front suspension pin and spring on the other side. The spring retainer, and of course the screw, type A screw, will hold the retainer in place. And lastly we'll install the right suspension pin itself from stage 79. We're going to make sure our cogs are all lined up for the steering wheel, and that will complete everything we do for part 2 of stage 81. Let's get the parts and get started. Before I proceed with the build, I went ahead and took the speaker apart and mounted the wire so it goes through the bottom of the speaker so it doesn't interfere with the top of the dash. And this is a video showing my reinstall of the speaker with the wire on the bottom side. We'll go ahead and install the speaker next, and they do tell you to make sure the speaker is facing the interior of the car and not the engine compartment. So this will just simply mount up to these two tabs on the front of the firewall. We'll go ahead and put our wire through this point here, and it will feed its way to the back of the car where the circuit board is. And of course I will neaten up all this stuff a little bit later. It just simply slides on there. Perfect. Welcome back. So here are the parts we need to install the front wheels. And of course, most of these parts we had from previous issues. Of course, we have the front wheels, left and right. We also have the steering linkage, the main suspension supports, they call them the pins, but they're actually screws for the steering linkage, and we have the rods and the springs. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with the right hand side, or the driver's side of the car. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that you have the proper wheel and tire, and in all actuality you want to make sure that the brake caliper is facing forward, the front of the car, and the arm is on the bottom. So this is the wrong one to do the right hand side, and I'm going to bring over the right hand side one. So that's going to mount up on the chassis just like that, with the arm facing front, the brake caliper, and it's on the bottom. So to help myself out here, I'm just going to use a tire to support the car, and that's going to keep it off the ground for me. And we'll install the pin first. Now the pins that we have, if you look closely, there's some grooves on one side and then on the other. These grooves are designed to bite into the plastic on your support, on your mount support. They're designed to bite in up here. So you want to press them down really hard when you go to install this, if that makes sense to you. So when we go to mount this down, we want to press, do this again, this is the right one. When we mount this down, we want to press really hard on this, just like that, to get that to engage on the pin here. Okay, so it engages inside of there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and put this through the axle. Just like that. We'll put our spring in next. And we have A-type screws for this. So we're going to put an A-type screw into this here. Go ahead and lubricate it with my Vaseline. I'm going to do both sides. So we're all set there. A-type screw is ready. Now I'm simply going to put this in, and I'm going to press down on it. Seat it up against the spring, and there we go. I heard it seat inside. A-type screw. Use a number 1 Weir screwdriver to tighten it down really good. And that's good. Okay. Go ahead and do the other side next here. take my wheel off. Alright, so same thing. We want to make sure that this is facing forward and on the lower side here. We're going to take our rod, make sure the grooves are on top. Going to insert that down. Might have to support it up just a little bit to do this. Just like that. Put our spring on it. And we're going to do the same thing here. Make sure it's lubricated. I'm going to get my ATET screw ready. And put on the mount bracket. Push down on it, just like that. It's popped in place. That's locked in. Tighten it down just to make sure. Push down on it, it's engaged. And that's tight. Next we'll go ahead and install the steering bar axle, they call it. Make sure your gears are on the right hand side where they'll mesh up to the gear on your steering drive shaft or your steering shaft, and it's simply going to go just like that. Get mounted in. This is going to mesh right up against the gears there. You might be able to see that. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and lubricate everything. I'm going to put some lube on the threads. This is pre-threaded already, but so we don't run the risk of breaking the screw as we're tightening, I want to put some lubrication on it. And same with the gear teeth for the steering. I'm going to put some lube on these. And that's good there. Alright, now I'll put my first pin in, and like I said, it is pre-threaded. It's going to go into that arm off your tire. So put it in through the arm and screw it in. Be careful you don't cross thread it. It's going in nice and smooth. And I'm not going to tighten it down all the way just yet. Do the other side. And there's the other side going in. Now we're engaged on both sides. I'll start tightening it down. Now there's a lot of play in the steering. Now we have a lot of play in the steering mechanism here. So to fix that, I'm going to take some wire ties, and I've seen this technique on social media. And simply going to wrap it around. Get the wire tie started here. I'm going to cut off a little bit there so it's not in the way. And it's going to go down right on top of that screw. A little more. Put it in there. And pull it, tighten it up. Just like that. And I'll cut it off flush. Turn it where you can't see it, and now it's tight. Do the same for the other side. Cut off the extra. Put it over the screw. And tighten it down. And cut off the extra. And that tightens everything down. It's kind of a weird thing, but everybody's incurred the same issues with that. If you were to find shorter screws, it might fix that. But you really need the space below the chassis for this to move back and forth. So steering seems to be pretty good here. And that's all we do for Stage 81 Part 2. We completely installed the front end and steering on this. It was a lot of fun and very easy to do. Remember, your tolerances are very close from now on, so we got to be very careful with what we do in the next stages or so. Also, my wiring, I neatened it up a little bit, and I ran it underneath the chassis here all the way through to the back of the car. And you can kind of see that here, just in preparation for the electronics board that we're getting a little bit later. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for all notifications. Head over to eaglemoss.com and subscribe to this car today. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.